Alright, so as someone who makes videos in this, I think it's safe to say that I get a good amount of use out of my fursuit. Seriously, I wear this thing multiple times a week, sometimes for hours on end. Heck, I'll even work in it from time to time if I don't feel like taking it off. But despite the high usage rate that I have with it, I would say I do a pretty good job at taking care of this wearable piece of art. I've had it for just over a year at this point, so not too long, but even when I go to conventions or when people see and feel it in person, they always tell me it feels like it just came out of the box. And there's a lot of things that I do to keep this suit in good condition that you can probably guess, but the real magic of keeping this suit looking and feeling fresh comes during a period of time that you probably don't expect. Of course, taking care of a fursuit before putting it on is important, and ensuring that it stays clean while you're performing is crucial as well, but the real secret to keeping a fursuit looking as good as new is what you do after you're done suiting. Let me explain. Now, I'm sure if you looked online, there are countless tutorials and guides on how to take care of a fursuit. And a lot of them do a really good job explaining the importance of general upkeep of a fursuit and what to do when things go wrong. But I've done that research too, and what I've found is that a lot of these guides miss an important part of fursuit care. They do a really good job at showing what to do before fursuiting, including wearing proper compression underneath and brushing to have your fur look good. And another large chunk of these guides focuses on staying well while fursuiting, including tips like drinking water, taking breaks if you're hot, and even introducing owners to accessories like fans to help keep them dry. And then after that, there's nothing. Well, not nothing, but there's definitely a gap of coverage on what to do with your fursuit when you're finished with your performance. And if they do bring it up, a lot of them just jump to tutorials on how to spot clean parts of your fur and, of course, how to wash or deeply clean your fursuit. And again, I don't want to discount that. Those are extremely important steps, but it doesn't tell the whole story of the full cycle of a fursuiting session. Especially at places like conventions or meetups, or if you're hanging out with a friend, or if you're like me and wear a suit to make content, a lot of the times you're not going to be in a position to immediately wash your suit after you're done with it. Heck, in all honesty, depending on how much activity you do while you're in suit, you might not need to wash your suit every time after you're done with it. In fact, it might be beneficial not to wash something as delicate as a fursuit as often. That deep of a clean puts a lot of stress on the fur. But I also don't want to imply that going too far in the other direction is good either. Doing nothing after taking off your fursuit can cause it to deteriorate a lot faster, especially in ways that won't be obvious until it's too late. So there's gotta be a middle ground here, some small list of things to do after you're done suiting to keep it fresh until the next time you put it on, right? Well, I wouldn't be making this video if there wasn't, now would I? Not only is immediate post-performance care important, but in my experience, it actually makes the most difference in extending the longevity of keeping a fursuit looking, feeling, and even smelling as fresh as it was when you first received it. And the best part is that none of these steps are all that complicated. You can be done with all of them in less than 5 minutes, but that's all it really takes to keep your fursuit in as good condition as possible. So let's take a look at these steps, and we'll start with what you should do immediately after taking off your fursuit. In fact, I'll demonstrate with my bodysuit. Let me just change out of this real quick off camera. Okay, we're back. The first thing that you should do after carefully taking off your fursuit is to disinfect it. I guarantee that each time you put on your fursuit, you will be introducing germs and bacteria into the suit, especially on the inside. Fursuiting is a physical activity, mainly because you are enveloping yourself in a dense, furry carpet, which of course gets warm after a while. And of course, when your body gets warm, it starts to sweat. In fact, if it doesn't, that means you're probably on your way to having some sort of heat exhaustion or even heat stroke, and you should seek medical attention immediately. But assuming you do sweat, even if you are wearing something like Under Armour, which is designed to keep you cool, that sweat will seep itself into the fursuit, and when combined with the oils and germs from your skin, can cause bacteria to grow. This is what I was talking about when I meant that not doing anything when you're done suiting is arguably the most dangerous outcome, as this bacteria can build up over time and after a while will start to smell and feel weird and mess up your investment. So right after you're out of the suit, disinfect it, and the best way to do that is with some sort of cleaning spray. Many fursuiters will use something called Fursuit spray, which is a combination of water, alcohol, and a small number of fragrance oils to give the suit a nice smell afterwards. It's a simple process, and it's pretty effective at killing the bacteria that comes when you sweat. Just open your suit up and give it a quick spray. Now I like to focus more on where I sweat, which is in the upper half of the inside of my bodysuit, and we'll even do a little bit on the outside as well, just to add a nice scent at the outside. This thing is really handy, and if you don't have Fursuit spray, you can always make your own with water and isopropyl alcohol mixed into a little spray bottle. You'll just be smelling a little bit more like cleaning solution instead of something like blueberries, but trust me, that is a whole lot better than building up bacteria in your suit. So after you're done disinfecting the high-touch areas of your fursuit, the next thing you're going to want to do is give it a good brush. Now, this one may seem obvious because it is, but it's so obvious that many people forget to do it. What a lot of people who own these things do is wait until they're just about to put it on for their next fursuiting session to brush it down. And while that's still definitely recommended, doing it after is just as, if not even more important in keeping the fursuit looking its best. And that all comes down to what brushing does to the fur on your fursuit. You are basically resetting it back to its natural position, coming off the inner structure of the body, and in the process, untangling a lot of the hairs from one another. Not doing this can make the fur on the suit get matted and gnarly, which makes it harder to brush out without possibly damaging or even removing a chunk of the fur from the suit. And I hate to break it to you, but unfortunately, this fur doesn't grow back. What you get is what you get. And again, it doesn't take all that much time. Just give the fur a brush back in its natural direction across the body and you'll be good to go. Giving your suit a brush is arguably the simplest step to take, but it goes in tandem with the final piece of caring for your fursuit after wearing it: proper storage. Storing your fursuit properly can make or break its longevity, simply due to accidents. If you leave your fursuit out and you accidentally spill something or get food on it, that can be a pain to get out of this suit's fur. Not only that, this fur is synthetic, so even if you leave it exposed to the elements for too long, including something like the sun, you can harm the material and decrease its lifespan significantly. So after you're done with a fursuiting session, it's best to store your suit in a cool, dry place, preferably one that isn't exposed to a lot of sunlight either. Now, if you're at a con, hanging it up in the closet of your room works great. However, what I usually end up doing is folding my suit carefully and putting it back in my travel case. That way I know that it's in a place that's dry, protected from the elements, and dedicated to just my suit alone. This is also why I said that brushing is so important in that last step. How your fur is brushed is how it's going to be when it's stored. So if you brush it down in its natural direction, it's going to stay like that when you store it. And of course, if you don't, it will stay like that until you realize what happened when you go to put it on again. Now, of course, if you did have multiple days in a row of multiple suiting sessions lasting multiple hours, then sure, it might be time to give your suit a proper wash. I do every time I come back from a con, and at this rate that I make videos in this suit, about every 2 to 3 weeks at this point. And maybe I'll do another video about the ins and outs of washing my fursuit, and if that's something you're interested in, feel free to hit subscribe. But honestly, that's all there is to it. Caring for your fursuit, especially after you're done wearing it, isn't all that hard. In fact, I really think that's the trap behind it. It's so simple that it's easy to forget to do so, especially after a long fursuiting session where you might be really tired. But even if you are exhausted, it is still crucial that you care for your suit after you're done wearing it. It's arguably the most important kind of care that you can give to your fursuit. Because at the end of the day, these furry wearable carpets are not just pieces of art, they're investments. And like any other investment, in order to receive the outsized value in the magic of fursuit, you gotta protect the assets as best as you can. All right, that's been it. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, but until then, stay wild out there. Peace.